Welcome to another edition of Left Unspoken. Nick Federa, Tom Albano, Nick Morgeson. Man, it seems like we've been putting out a lot of breaking news lately. And, well, I'm just going to send it off to the Giant fans in the room. You want to say what happened?
Fuck this team.
Oh, yeah, fuck this team. If I may elaborate, context is necessary. The Giants just traded away Odell Beckham Jr., their star wide receiver, best player on their team, to the Browns for a fucking third-round pick, a fucking first-round pick, and Jabril fucking Peppers.
I will debate best player on the team.
Hold on. Report from the Giants Twitter account just went out. Or not just went out. Went out earlier today. According to Gettleman, the GM, we didn't sign Odell to trade him.
Fuck you! Seriously, fuck you in the ear, fuck you in the other ear.
Wait a minute. So I have a question. Giant fans in the room, I have a question. So if that's true, and I'm reading this off the Giants Twitter page right now,
I want to know what changed.
Yeah, well, that's my question to you guys. Since you're the Giant fans, tell me, the guy, they just signed him to a record contract 7 months ago. So what changed between now and then and now?
Because this organization is being run by tiny aliens driving skin robots. They have no idea what football is. They were sent from the future to destroy the Giants from the inside out. Terminator. I mean, I've got a couple of theories, but none of them have to do with, this was exactly the right move to make, because it was not. And as if on cue, the sports pope himself has weighed in. Francesco.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
He just tweeted out, we can argue about compensation, but the Beckham trade is the best thing that could have happened to the Giants.
You know what, though? This goes back to my point, and I know you guys hated me when I made this point over the football season, is that I agree with you that the guy is undervalued, but at the same time, I think this is Antonio Brown with Pittsburgh all over again. And
he hasn't done anything that Antonio Brown ever did.
Wait a second. So I think that Pittsburgh finally said, and we said this on the Left Unspoken, I think they didn't want to deal with his attitude anymore. And I think the Giants finally came back and said, look, we just saw what happened to Pittsburgh. We don't want that happening to us. So we're just going to take the best trade.
Never threw his quarterback under the bus. Never threw his quarterback under the bus. They've had it out for him since the moment he fucking got here. The moment he got here, they wanted him to shut his mouth. Because they wanted him to just shut up and play. It's a double fucking standard. But Ben Roethlisberger can trample over his own fucking receivers and act like an entitled dick, and he gets away with it. Hello.
I will go in a different direction here. I will agree that he may have a little bit of an ego. However, we have a little problem here. From a football perspective and from a perspective that Nick was talking about. I'll start with the one where Nick was talking about, but I'm going to go in a different direction. Let's also bring in something from last season. Who remembers when what's-his-face, backup quarterback, got arrested during the season?
Oh, Kyle Lauletta.
Kyle Lauletta, who got arrested on the highway and drove off and didn't stop for the police. Yes.
What did I say? And even you agree to this.
He should have been cut.
If it was Odell, he would have been cut.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong about that.
I don't know why they didn't cut Lauletta, but there's something about it that's just not white.
Well, let's put it this way.
I'll tell you. Wait, hang on, because I have the football perspective too. What I said right before the thing. At the very least, the Steelers have Juju Smith-Schuster, who is an unbelievable young talent and a perfect replacement for Antonio Brown. Sterling Shepard, I like Sterling. He is not a number one wide receiver, and now he's going to be forced into that role unless the Giants do something major in the next coming days or in the draft.
And what major can what can they do? What is the major move to be made here?
There's no major move to be made, and this move basically tells me that the Giants, and I said this to Nick before we started, this is a white flag. This is basically them saying we're in rebuild mode. And I'll read you a tweet, which I put out from Jordan Renan, who's the Giants NFL Nation reporter. And he said, trading OBJ signifies a true rebuild for the Giants. It also raises questions, why didn't they do it before they signed him to a record contract? Now they incur another $16 million in dead money, and they paid him $21.5 million for 12 games. Last year was the ideal time to rebuild.
Right, I was going to say, and do you remember what else I said last season? And I think this goes past Gettleman. I think this goes all the way up to the top with Mara. Because Mara, at that press conference when he fired McAdoo and Reese, said it was a rebuild, but I think he thought quick rebuild. He gave the perspective that it was only going to be a quick rebuild. If he should have, like they're saying, if this was going to be a thing that inevitably happened, it should have been right then and there, and they should have told us to our faces, it will be a few years before we come back.
Yeah, I don't know, but this
team is genuinely fucked for the last 5 years.
Here's the carrot.
Yeah, the Jets. We're not even.
Well, wait a minute. Don't go there. You guys have won Super Bowls.
I'm not even going to talk about the Super Bowl thing. I'm talking about the off-season moves. You can't really compare it to the Jets because I think the Jets actually have made some pretty good signings so far.
One of them just backfired on them, actually.
Okay,
maybe I'm being too hard on Gettleman. I apologize. I shouldn't have.
No, I won't say hard
on the year. I apologize for that.
I won't say hard on Gettleman, but it's very weird. It's like,
but why now? The timing of the trade is
weird. It's stupid. It's
right. No,
why do it now?
Time out. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm saying, but it's one bad thing, one good thing, one bad thing. Like, remember last week on 110, we talked about Landon Collins trade. We said, this was stupid and everything. And what we're saying now,
we got to include that in the next episode too.
Right, but then midweek they trade Olivier Vernon to the Browns. They do another deal with the Browns, and they get what's his face? He's the sixth best guard for the sixth best guard at a time where their offensive line is
bad.
Shit.
And also, just to put another thorn in the side of the Giants, that the Redskins signed Landon Collins to a 6-year, $84 million deal.
I actually am a little happy with that because, fuck that. As much as I like Collins, I don't know if I would have.
They overpaid. They overpaid in the worst way.
Major overpayment on the Redskins. And that's the same team who just overpaid for fucking Case Keenum to be their starting quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know. And you know what everyone's saying now? Hey, Le'Veon Bell, there's now room for another clown on the Giants.
I don't want to hear it from any of the people who hated Odell Beckham Jr. and always called him a thug or a loudmouth.
Well, I didn't call him that, but I would say.
No, I'm not saying you did. I'm saying there were a lot of Giants fans that did. Oh yeah, when we suck this year, you're going to be begging.
You know what's interesting though now, looking at it from
trade him.
You know what's interesting from the other point of view now, seeing OBJ and Baker Mayfield on the same field together.
Well, let's talk about that. Cleveland is fucking stacked. I think they're all in now,
and their defense is a lot better. Their defense is a lot better than years past.
This is the best I think the Browns have looked. This is the best they've looked on paper.
And just one more point, Tom. They're in the best situation because Pittsburgh is going the other direction.
Right. I would say this is their biggest chance right now to make noise and make the playoffs, Cleveland.
With Pittsburgh being destroyed the way it is right now, they better beat Pittsburgh this year.
They better beat Pittsburgh. It's going to be a nice competition with them and the Ravens. Maybe they're not going to win the division, but they have the chance to at least get a wild card spot.
Yeah, if they don't make the playoffs, this would be a major, major disappointment in more ways than one. I don't know. Like, you're also leaving out another name. You said in the ownership. Who did you say before?
Mara and Tisch.
And Tisch also. I've heard reports on those two guys that they can never agree on the same thing either.
Oh gee, and that's the sign of a real functional organization there.
I think we saw that when the McAdoo stuff was happening.
Because one of them wanted to keep and one of them wanted to fire.
Right.
Okay, so all right, so this goes to the next point that I was going to make. This better mean, since you're stacking up on picks now, since you pretty much took dynamite to this fucking team within the last hour, this better mean you're going after a fucking quarterback.
Well, that was the carrot I started to say before. The carrot that they're dangling out now is that they traded OBJ, they traded Vernon away, and they're going younger. They have to get Haskins. If they don't get Haskins, then this trade was pointless and useless.
Well, watch this end up being they're going to waste that pick on some shitty guard left guard from West Virginia.
Well, watch, because I'm thinking, because this was my thought process. Well, some processes that we were having at work. Number one is they offer it to, they basically pull what the Jets did last year, and that they offer a bunch of picks to one of the teams that are ahead of them, move up to make sure that they land Haskins. The other is, well, if the reports are true that the Cardinals and the Raiders, who have the first two picks in the draft, are interested in Kyler Murray, using the picks to trade for either Rosen or Derek Carr, preferably Rosen.
Here's the other problem I have with this whole thing, which is they gave him a $90 million extension.
Again, that's the question. Then what changed? Then what was it between then and now? Because he didn't have, as much as we're talking about his ego and stuff, he didn't really have, as the incidents on the field that we saw from the likes of Le'Veon Bell or Antonio Brown.
That's a point I was making.
Right, but here's the other issue. Remember when we originally made the joke how Antonio Brown was going to go to the Browns and that almost went down? And then because it had nothing... Bills, excuse me. And Antonio Brown basically, who should have had no leverage whatsoever, basically talked himself away out of the Bills to the Raiders.
I think that's on Pittsburgh ownership. I think Pittsburgh ownership
should have just stuffed him there.
I think Pittsburgh ownership is extremely weak-minded, and it's all egos colliding, and we're seeing the fallout in Pittsburgh right now.
They should have just said, I don't give a shit. You're going there, and we're done with you. That's it. That's
what happens with Saquon now? I mean, he's it out there.
It's going to be a run-first team.
I was going to say, they're all in on Saquon. If Saquon goes down with injury this year, they're fucked even worse.
I still think they don't have a number one wide receiver really right now. Sterling Marte is a good receiver, but he's not a one.
I'm saying
it's a little too early to be making picks for the NFL season, but I'm just going to say, just putting it out there, they're going to finish last.
No, I don't know. They're
going to have the number one pick. I would say probably out of the next 5 years, they'll have the number one pick 3 times.
That's a little rough. But
I don't know.
Oh, yeah?
Wait.
Timeout. Go.
I think what's going to be the make or break is not this draft. I think it's going to be next year's draft. When you have, because I've heard the 2020 class is as stacked as the 2018, especially quarterbacks and running backs. If the Giants, finish last this year, fine. But then that's going to make the 2020 draft really a must-grab situation. I think there's a whole other factor here that we're missing. Because I think Nick and I have had this debate about, about best player, worst player, who's causing the team. And you had mentioned Odell throughout the season. And we're talking about getting a quarterback. There is another elephant in the room, Eli. What's going to happen to him? And if they don't grab a quarterback, are they just going to keep running with Eli? Are they going to get Laletta as the...
Uh-oh, another big mouth opened his mouth on Twitter. Can you guess who that is?
Josh Norman.
No, well, he's one, but... Who's the other big mouth besides Francesa that we talk about all the time?
Best?
Yeah.
Skip Bayless.
Oh, no!
What did Mr. Baseless say, by the way?
Great move by the Giants, having the guts to get out from under Odell's contract and Big Apple behavior. Great move by Cleveland acquiring a now humbled Odell with big chip on shoulder and smaller market.
You can't see what I'm doing now, but I'm flipping them off.
It's probably a good thing because if we were doing this in video, we'd have to censor
might break. I just talk about the fucking peanut gallery.
I hate to say this though, but I think he's half right.
He's right on the Cleveland part. On the Cleveland part, he's right.
That's why I said I think he's half right.
Oh yeah, Cleveland pulled off the steal of the year. You kidding? They fleeced a bunch of morons.
And just to throw another one out there, this trade was just agreed upon via Ian Rappaport.
Gentleman's the best GM the Browns have ever had.
Well, right. The Chiefs have made a deal to send Dee Ford to the Niners. I think that's for a 2020 second-round pick.
All righty then.
What is going on? This is like NFL trade, the NFL trade machine.
It's nice to know that the Giant fans aren't the only ones.
I'm just thinking here. We've been breaking, the left unspokens. We're getting ready for episode 111. That's a lot of NFL news rather than MLB preparation.
Trust me,
right?
There's some NBA news as well about players going into the stands. This is going to be an interesting week. So. And we haven't even gotten to the Knicks with James Dolan. That's a whole nother issue in itself.
Oh no!
It's gonna be a barn burner, folks. I can say you're not gonna see as much anger out of me because I usually am not this.
Oh no! There's not gonna be anger. There's just gonna be loud opinions.
Yeah. No. I can assure you I will be calmer by the time we do this episode. But I'll be good.
I've got an idea. I think we need to give New York sports a funeral this week.
I don't know if it's full New York sports. I would say it's the
Yankees are still there.
The Yankees are still there. The Mets, we kind of knew were dead already. The Jets, I don't know. The question mark is still out on them.
I was going to say, I mean, you made some good moves, but you're still playing in the same division as the Patriots.
Well, did you see that they signed somebody and then the guy pulled out and went back to Minnesota?
Anthony Barr from the Vikings.
Yeah, so you know what? Maybe New York sports might deserve a funeral. Maybe. Final thoughts, gentlemen, on this whole Odell Beckham situation. I'll ask you guys, do you think that the Giants season is basically a fuckery this coming season?
I think this is tank mode. This is tank mode for 2020.
This is tank mode. I got to say, you can take the meat thermometer out and start cutting into it because that motherfucker is cooked.
Oh, God. That's an interesting way of putting it. But I don't know. I hate to – I don't want to say I told you so because I had a feeling that I was the one guy who kept saying, the crazy person who kept saying he could get –
Yes, I know you like being right, but you don't have to rub our faces in it.
No, I'm not rubbing faces. You guys said I was crazy.
Being right.
Well, I was going to say, you are right, but the move is not right.
No, I agree with you on that point. I don't think the move is right at all. But I told you, didn't I say that there was the possibility they could try to get out because of ego?
I'm not. We don't even know.
Ego. Imagine.
We don't even know if it's ego at this rate.
We don't know what the reason is. We just know that it happened.
That's what I was saying about the Mara and Tish thing, like about being upfront and honest and everything about all those couple of years ago. I know that sounds insane, but give us answers.
Wait a minute. Kimberly Jones just said that she just spoke to Odell Beckham Jr., who said he had a, quote, brief conversation with Dave Gettleman. Quote, at this point, I have no idea what to think. I'm trying to process it right now. Said leaving New York Giants is, quote, bittersweet, but it is what it is. It's life.
It's the suckiness of the business end of
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So what does that tell you? So it obviously wasn't, let's push him out of here, obviously.
It sounds like there was mutual,
But it sounded like he wanted to be there.
No, I just said.
He did want to be there. He did.
I just said it sounds like mutual parting of ways. Like we're both done with each other.
Well,
like Antonio Brown.
He wanted to leave.
Well, I mean, only because the Giants aren't really going anywhere, especially with Eli as a quarterback. I'm sorry. I love Eli. I'm sorry. I have to.
Eli should have been gone last season. We all know that.
Which, if you were going to trade him, do it then. Or you fucking signed him to an
and then at that point, maybe I understand passing up Saquon for one of these other quarterbacks.
Well, I can tell you right now, the offense is probably going to become Saquon first and then the wide receiver second because that's the big name right now that's leading this team. Is that your leader?
What offense? That offense is going to be as extinct as a woolly mammoth riding a stick.
Well, especially because in the draft, I bet they're just going to focus on defense after Haskins.
What defense?
Yeah, what defense?
No.
What team?
No.
Team. It's just
Stop.
That's exactly my point. After Haskins, they're going to draft defenseman after defenseman. They're going to pull a Browns, like the Browns did a couple of years ago, where they're going to draft all these young defense players and try to build from the ground up.
I don't know. I'm just surprised by this whole move. Like, I thought maybe after next season they might try to do this, but I didn't expect them to do it in the off season, like when they just signed him to a new deal. Because now That's the thing that bothers me. The timing. Not at the beginning of the rebuild, not during the points, not during the climax of the rebuild. At this stage, I hate to bring this statistic into it, but Ralph Vacciano, who covers the Giants for SNY, said the Giants really liked Jabril Peppers in the 2017 draft and considered taking him. A source said back then that's when they took tight end Evan Ingram instead.
Evan Ingram, right.
And then Peppers went 2 picks later.
And what's the sad part? But what's the sad part? Evan Ingram ended up being their most, productive player on offense that year because Odell went down with injury and Sterling Shepard went down with injury briefly. And that was the year they had no offense because all those guys went down in the same game.
Also, another thing that Vacciano said, that Dave Gettleman called Odell Beckham personally to tell him about the deal.
Yeah, because if you're going to stomp on a guy's heart and then move and then crush his dreams, I mean, you might as well do it in person.
Well, let's put it this way. Do you think that you're going to hear Baker to Odell Beckham Jr. all season coming up?
I'm going to be hearing it in my nightmares.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be so weird, though, seeing what he's going to do in Cleveland.
First of all, wipe that smirk off your face. This is not funny. Why are you laughing at this?
I'm laughing at the Giants' ownership. That's what I'm laughing at.
It's not funny. You really are you getting off on us being
no? Because I know what a dysfunctional ownership is in the New York Jets, so I can laugh at this.
Oh yeah, great. You have your shiny fucking quarterback. What do we got?
No, I'm not 100% convinced yet.
I was gonna say I'm not convinced that Darnold's really good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, really.
I think Darnold's the problem. Darnold's the problem with the Jets.
I mean, if you give him a year or two, maybe he'll be fine, but not now.
Still, I mean, at least look. At least they're at the bottom of the ravine. We're talking about my team has just gone off the cliff and they're still in midair.
No.
Wait a minute.
They're going to collapse and it's going to be once they hit the ground.
I don't think that the Giants ownership or the Jets ownership is really the worst. I mean, we still had the Knicks and James.
Oh, please don't. Well, I'm a Net fan, so I don't have to worry about that. But multiple sources. This is from Daryl Routier, who is a Browns reporter for 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Multiple sources telling him that John Dorsey is not done yet. Stay tuned.
Oh, I bet he's not done yet.
And also from Joel Sherman, this is probably the funniest tweet I've seen in a while. What if I told you on November 1st that by St. Patrick's Day, New York would not have Porzingis, Odell, Machado, or Harper? Good news, we still have Dolan.
I want to end there. Just end it. Just end the broadcast now. I don't think we even need to say anything anymore except for that one tweet.
This is bad news.
I'm telling you. Let's just give New York sports a funeral this week.
Well, coming up on episode 111 this coming weekend, New York funeral in sports. Plus,
we're about to find new ways to get depressed about sports, ladies and gentlemen. It's an unspoken first. We're all going to do drinking.
Oh, no.
We're going
actually, wait a minute.
Away.
By the way, drinking might be better than James Dolan and the Knicks ownership and Giants and their ownership. So,
stop doing that.
This is all I can say is you're going to want to stay tuned for episode 111 this coming weekend. There's going to be opinions flying left and right. We might destroy all of New York sports. Hey, we might end up like Schlosser and get blocked by the Giants' Twitter account.
Actually, I was going to say, can we just get Schlosser this week or next week or something?
Yeah, but it's not Pittsburgh related. Oh, wait. Technically, it is Pittsburgh related.
I was saying we just had Antonio Brown get traded a couple of days ago.
Actually, just a little insider for you. He did say he would come back, possibly.
We will see.
Oh, God.
We will see, because misery definitely loves company.
I would say we need somebody within the next week or two to make sense of all this.
I don't know, but I think we've had enough for one Left Unspoken. Hey, you guys got a bonus this week. You got 2 Left Unspokens in 3 days.
Great. You got a bunch of depressed sports podcasts just ranting angrily into our web cameras. Wonderful.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
I think that's enough for this Left Unspoken. That's Nick Federa and Tom Albano. I'm Nick Morgeson. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.